Hello and welcome to Support Stack Solo, Episode 3. So, welcome back to Support Stack. This is another solo episode of Support Stack, so it's just me running you through something new that I'm working on or something that I'm finding interesting at the moment. And today, we're actually going to be building my first procedure for my own website. So, you may remember in Episode 1, we were looking at a procedure that I was planning and a procedure that I was running through the process of defining and deciding how to make it run. It's a bit of a different one for me. Most of my client work takes existing processes and then maps them onto Fin, so there's a lot to work with. But this was really me starting afresh and defining the procedure for the first time. So here is the Notion page that we created together, me and you, dear listener, and our friend Claude. And as I said in the first episode, this is all about setting up Fin as a qualification concierge on my own website. So what I'd like to do is make sure that anyone who wants to talk to me and work with me gets a good experience talking to Fin, and both experiences what Fin can feel like and how good you can get it using procedures and using a couple of other tools, as well as selfishly reducing the number of individual contacts I get that may be better served in other ways. So I've got this whole Notion page now created. I created this through Claude. Claude created this into Notion as this page. And so now I've got a lot of details in here. In particular, what I'd like to point out as well is down the bottom, there's a lot of details here, but down the bottom, we actually have the step-by-step here. So it gives me, just in case you really didn't know how to create procedures, you can exactly see how to do it here. So I've got these blocks, these instruction blocks that I'm going to paste into procedures. Before I do that, though, I will show you. So this is the procedures page. Now, there's one thing to know before you create your first procedure. If you want to store any information on a user level, so if it's not a temporary attribute or so it's storing it about a user or about a lead or about a conversation, then you need to create that beforehand, before you're creating your procedure. If you also want to connect any data connectors, so connecting to any third parties, any APIs, something like Stripe or maybe a different database for your product, you'll need to create that beforehand as well before you get it working in your procedure, obviously enough. What I have done in my people attributes is I've created a couple of the attributes that I'm going to want to set up or to define through my procedure. So the Fin usage depth, the Intercom team size estimate, the availability alignment, the Fin intent frame, and the qualification score. So I've already got those set up. They are set up as people attributes because they're going to be defined for the people who are interacting with Fin. So now what I want to do is get started with procedures. So you see, I do have a draft one down here already. That's just a sample one that I was using. I think that was a lot in episode 2, I think that was, where we were doing our first look at the actual procedures interface. So what I'm going to do is in the top right, click New Procedure and then Let AI Draft Your Procedure. So this gives me two options. We saw this last time as well in episode 2. It gives us me the option of putting in all the process, or I've got some examples here as well. So if this was troubleshooting login issues, I could use those, handling damaged items, those sort of things. But that's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do instead is go back here and I'm going to copy all of this, and then say down to here, I'm curious. Well, we have enough space. So now I'm going to come to the top and I'm going to give it a little bit more context. So I'm going to say, it's 8 characters over the limit. You see they've got a character limit at the bottom. Routes the lead. So I'm just going to see if I can get something else in here so that Fin knows what to do. Let's see. Configure Fin agent to cat. There we go. Perfect. So configure Fin AI agent to act as qualification concierge for prospects, ask precise qualification questions, store attributes, score the lead, and routes the lead. So one of the things I'm immediately thinking based on my experience here is, okay, well, when I'm setting up my Notion page to defines the procedure ahead of time, I should make sure that I'm not wasting characters with things like emojis, and that I'm setting it up in a way that will be easy for Fin to understand and get in this format. So that's an immediate improvement that I can make to the skill that is underlying this. But anyway, I'll click continue. So Fin will go off, try and search conversations. It doesn't actually have anything to work with because I have a very small website at the moment, but it should start to get some work set up. And now what it should do is come back with questions for me, and then I'll start to answer questions. The procedure description says very large. However, the help contents, it helps into conscious is 400 and large. So which thresholds? Yep, that's probably a contradiction that I have within this page. So I will say, great. I'm just going to paste in this one again. The alignment references several people. None of these appear in the available attributes list. They do appear. Okay. Well, that's fair enough. They do, don't you? See them there as well? Yeah. Okay. That's what we'll do. The people attributes are qualification score, intent frame. They're the exact same. So I wonder if it's just having trouble finding them. In usage depth. For the medium, the source says store emails. Emails should be stored as the primary email attribute. Please. Help center mentions confirming the lead is not an existing customer before running this procedure. No, do not confirm. Do not include this step at all. Generate draft. Because what I can do is I can actually just account for that in the procedure itself, in the triggers, so that it's only triggering for people who are not customers already. And so if it went off and tried to collect from the subscription database or from my Stripe account, then it would only be checking users anyway, and so anyone who I have marked as a user or a customer in Intercom, I can just filter them out automatically anyway. So now let's see how Fin goes ahead and creates this procedure. I never know whether to describe this as Fin or this as Intercom, because it kind of feels like the same sort of magic AI agent going off and doing things in the background. So I'm curious about how it's going to set the attributes and whether it's going to do those correctly, and also whether it's going to do the maths correctly. Okay, so my procedure is just refreshing now. And so let's go through it. Interesting. So it hasn't at all included my attributes. So update attribute as Fin usage depth is there. Record there. So I need to fix that. Record there as advanced is. So yeah, this is funny. So I don't know why it didn't break it down, but now I'm going to break it down into sub points to make it a lot easier. But also it didn't do it this. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so it's just said internally record. Okay, so not a great experience there. It's a bit weird because it hasn't picked up at all the fact that I have the existing attributes. Okay, so no, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do the conditional here as well. So we're going to do a conditional. So if the customer mentions, cool, yeah, great. So we're going to acknowledge the customer's response and set advanced. That's what we're going to do there. Let's do an else if the customer indicates this. So we're going to put that in there as well. Acknowledge the customer's response as basic. Yeah, and I think it's going to do the maths all wrong as well. Okay, well, let's see what it can do. This is just about getting it. See, I've already forgotten what I was supposed to set this at. Advanced is 20 points. Of course it is. Basic, 8 points. And then else is acknowledge the customer's response. Yeah. Bit finicky still, but it is in beta. So that's all right. So is not enabled. 0 points. That's better. Roughly how many people are using Intercom at your company? So now, acknowledge the customer's response and set. Now we can do update attribute, and it is team size, Intercom team size estimate to very large. And now all to do is just copy this bit and let's go as set. And instead of internally record, set team size estimate to large. Great. And set to medium. Much better. Ah, good. And to small. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's only got the 3 options here. Maybe it's because it's only got 3 conditions, but I don't understand. It does look messier. See, I really like when it has, sorry, that's the wrong one. I really like it when it has the ifs. So conditions, so let's say if the customer clearly acknowledged the customer's response and set, and we'll do update attribute, availability alignment to September. Okay, 10 points. And now I can copy this and do an else if the customer indicates that they need something sooner, as if the customer indicates that they need something sooner. Set September, acknowledge the customer's response and set to needs sooner, 0 points. And then we'll do an else, and we'll just do acknowledge the customer's response, set, and set to unsure. Great. Okay, and now I can get rid of all of this. Yeah, this is interesting. Now that I think through it, I don't think that should be 0 points. That should be 5 points. Because I don't really want to weigh them worse. I will hopefully be able to deliver group offerings sooner than that. So let's do that. Okay. And now, this is another condition. Yeah. If, so now we're going to, set. We're going to do update an attribute intent frame to strategic trust. Goody. Else if, so it's that, and strategy. Well, no, I'll leave that as is actually. If so, to mixed. 5 points. Else and set date. So this is the fin intent frame. Oh, update fin intent frame to cost focused. Okay, cool. I can get rid of that. Calculate the qualification score. Great, a team member. Cool. Okay, cool. Pretty good. This maths might not work together perfectly. So what I might have to do is put in some logic here, because I could do, it's natural language at the moment, but it could be code instead. So I'm curious about whether that'll work. Okay, so let's save that there. Everyone on all channels. Well, not everyone. I'll have to do an audience later. I don't want to interrupt right now. So I'll test this. And then let's see. Hey, I'd love some information on working with Connor. Can you tell me what his services are? Okay. So that's the procedure. Oh, I could hear it's pinging in the background saying, hey, someone's talking. I'll find the details about Connor's services for you. That's nice. So I click the event log and can see that it is running my qualify and route prospects using Fin AI agent concierge flow. Oh, cool. Okay, so it has got some good stuff. Great. Great. How do I get in contact with Connor? Okay, so we've got the contact them. It's all right, but I wonder if is it still inside the procedure? It is still inside the procedure, so that's good. because you can see because it hasn't exited the procedure yet. So what I'll do is I will say, so far we have Fin enabled, but we haven't done a huge amount of work to set it up beyond that. And so what it should do at this point is now move on. So let's check the event log and see what happens. Okay. Usage depth is basic, 8 points. Roughly how many Intercom are using Intercom at your company? We have 20 support agents. Okay. Thanks for that information. Okay. So team size medium. Great. I was really hoping to get someone sooner. Is he really not available until September? You know, it's always fun to ask these questions. So we'll see what happens. Ah, that's good to know. Okay, so this is useful for me as well because it's pointing out. So as you may already know, Fin will go off and use content as well if it will better answer the question. But of course, these are really old blog posts. Like this is from a year and a half ago. So I need to make a note to go back and get rid of those blog posts because it's not good. Okay. Sooner would be better, then I'll say. So now, hopefully Fin, so Fin should say needs sooner. Great. Yep. When you think about Fin, customer trust and experience, I'm definitely keen on bringing the best possible customer support experience using Fin, right? Okay, and now next, what Fin should do is get the qualification score. So this is the part, genuinely, I'm not sure if Fin will be able to do this. And so let's see if it sets I forgot to get it to record it. Oh, that's annoying. That was silly, but good thing to do. So 10. So let's check Fin's thoughts. Okay, 8 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10. Yeah. So that makes 28. And that is score between 18 and 34. So now it's gone on to 10.2. While a one-on-one call isn't the right step just yet, here are some options. Group workshops starting soon. Would you like me to send you a guide showing how Connor set up this exact qualification process? So there we go. That's an example of how it can work. So I've got things to fix, obviously. So first of all, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to do store this score as, and then I'll do update attribute. I think, what was it called? Qualification score? Qualification score. There we go. Now, I'll save that. Now, if I switch over and find that conversation, so even though it's a preview conversation, I should be able to find it. There it is, all. And so now I've got the details, user data. If I say see all, interesting. So it hasn't actually stored the usage depth or anything like that. So I'm curious. I suspect that's because this is a preview user. So I'll want to make sure in my testing that I test it live with a real user and that I simulate it. I do it not just as a preview user to make sure that that's all getting set correctly for this person. So that's interesting. And another thing to test. All right. So there are simulations I can do as well. And so this will be the fun thing to see what happens and make sure that it all gets set correctly. Because we saw, hang on, just going back to that conversation. So down here, it does set, Fin usage depth to 8 points. That is curious. I wonder why that's not translating. I'd guess it is just because of the fact that, that's my guess, is because it's a preview user. Okay, so, but anyway, that's the first step, the first version of this. Obviously, I can change any of this myself. So I can change the scorings, I can change the questions, I can change all of that. The next things I'm going to do are edit my content so that it doesn't have that out-of-date content anymore. Always the best thing to do is content. And then set up some simulations so I can run these in bulk. So I can have a bunch of different answers coming in and make sure that it's working as I want it to work. And then test it as well with an email. Make sure it's working well through email as well as through Messenger. So that's my first procedure. I'm going to set it live within the next couple of days. You can come to customersuccess.cx and ask questions and see, get Finn to answer. And hopefully by the time this video goes live, this procedure will be live as well. Leave any comments below. If you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer them. I hope this is really helpful, a good view on how to set up procedures, the things that you do need to do manually at the moment, although I suspect, given that this is still in beta, I think there's going to be a huge amount of improvement here. I've already seen some previews of some things that are really exciting and should really help. But yeah, hopefully this gives you a good view of setting up your first procedure. It's not that scary, but if you do need a little bit of help, I will likely be doing one of the group offerings that I've mentioned here is I will likely be doing in the late summer a group set up your own first Finn procedure. So we go through ideation, we go through selecting your right process, we go through scoping it out, we go through writing up the requirements for your data connectors if it's connecting to other systems. This procedure didn't, but others do. A small group of people, maybe 10 or 12 people, going through that process of setting it up over the course of 4 to 6 weeks. And we sit down together, share your screens, everyone learns from each other, bit of guidance from me, pushing and nudging in the right direction. So if you are interested in that, make sure you're signed up to the daily email list. That's customersuccess.cx/daily, or send me an email, hello@customersuccess.cx, and you will get through to my my friendly Finn. And apart from that, I hope you have a wonderful week and take care of yourselves. Thank you. Bye.